What is good, YouTube? Quinway basketball analysis coming to y'all with my playoff reactions. We're going to talk about the Lakers going down. We're going to talk about Giannis looking terrible and still getting the W. We're going to talk about playoff debates and who had a spectacular time in games. And we're just going to have a little fun today. We're going to talk about my Celtics first. We came out up and aggressive. We came out looking like we here to stay. We can compete with you guys. We ain't scared of you guys. But like I told y'all in my playoff predictions, the Lakers struggle to put baskets together for an entire 48 minutes. They go through possessions where they look stagnant. They throw up tough shots. And then they go on long stretches of that. You can't do that against the Brooklyn Nets. They have shooters everywhere, and they have guys that can go off for 20 to 30 any given night and go on a run by hitting threes. They went on an 8-0 run, got the lead, and never looked back, and my Celtics was done. Got to give credit to Robert Williams. He protected the paint, he rebounded, and he did the best he could as a young player. I was disappointed in Tatum. He took a lot of throw-up shots. It's like he was going to take the shot just to take it. He didn't seem confident. He didn't really seem like he was really himself in that second half. Tatum got to be aggressive. We seen what he was able to do to be able to go for 40, to be able to go to 50. You got to be aggressive the entire game. You don't have no Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart, we don't know what we're going to get from him offensively. That's been his entire career. We never depended on Marcus Smart offense. That's what Jaylen Brown, that's what Jason Tatum, that's what Kimba are for. Evan Fournier, he's going to have to step up. We made a trade for him to fill that role of being a guy that can play the 2, the 3, the 4, and give us floor spacing and give us ability to shoot threes and put the ball on the floor and hit mid-ranges. He was able to do that in the first half. He disappeared. You can't do that. We need him to be more because we don't have Jaylen Brown. We need you to get 15 or 20 plus. If you're not going to be able to do that, then this will be a sweep, just like I predicted that it will be. The Celtics got fight. They're young. They scrappy. But they have to play like that the entire game. You can't have spurts. You can't have a quarter. You're going against a team with killers. You're going against a team that can overwhelm you. You have to be consistent. And until we do that, we might not win the championship in Boston. To talk about the Nets, they got a little excited. They got hit with a haymaker in the first half. But they stayed calm. They stayed collective. KD missed a lot of easy shots in the beginning of the first two quarters. He was able to knock down the tough ones as the game continued to go. Kyrie never slowed down. He was in attack mode all game. His shots started to fall. He took a little bit more, and that was basically the end of the Celtics. James Harden kind of played with the defense. He scored when he had to. He kept to his playmaking ability, and he basically cruised to 20 points just like the other ones. We know that they all capable of getting 20 points. They all averaged over 20 points this year. The Celtics got to be more prepared. They got to be more smarter, and they got to come out more hungrier. They can't get comfortable. They can't get relaxed because this team can come at you and put you away, and that's what we seen in game one. And the Celtics got to be more smarter going into the next series. The Wizards game, I liked it. The Wizards, I think they're going to get swept. Joel Embiid got in foul trouble. One of them fouls was questionable. Tobias Harris hasn't showed up in basically his whole entire playoff career. He did it today. They needed to win game one to get, acclimated. They needed somebody to step up when Joel Embiid was out. And Tobias Harris hit threes. He hit mid-ranges. He killed people in the post. And he knocked down his free throws. You got to give Tobias Harris a lot of credit. They paying him big money. They made the trade to get him. They signed him to stay for a couple more years. And he responded big when they needed him to. Ben Simmons' defense was fantastic. I told y'all that Matisse Thybulle should be all NBA defense. Getting blocks, getting strips on Bradley Beal, helping with the traps and the rotations. Looked it fantastic. I love Matisse Thybulle, and he showed why I had him on my defensive team today. Russell Westbrook, he got to be aggressive. Shots wasn't falling. That's what Russell Westbrook does. If his shot's falling, you have a huge chance of winning the game. If his shot's not falling and he's not going to play defense, then you're going to have a hard trouble winning games. Bradley Beal mixed it up, winning his bag, made some vegetables, made some cornbread, forgot the chicken and the steak. Didn't come through when they needed him most. He tried as hard as he could to score. He disappeared from time to time in this series. I mean, in that first game, you can't do that when you already at a disadvantage going against the better team. He's going to have to come out aggressive and hungry, and so does Russ. Davis Bertans and Ish Smith and those guys, they're going to have to hit threes throughout the whole series. If they're not making shots and making threes, the floor shrinks. And it makes it tougher on Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal to get to that paint, get to those floaters, get to the free throw line. So Rory, he hit some big ones in the fourth quarter, but it wasn't enough because they wasn't able to score enough to offset the Sixers' potent scoring. Seth Curry, I like the fact that he hit the mid-ranges, hit the threes. I like the fact that even when he went down, he came back in and made a good impact. Danny Green made some big threes to push the lead up, and the Sixers never looked back, and they was able to cruise to the W. I liked that. I also wanted to talk about Phoenix. I just watched the Phoenix game. Devin Booker, I picked the Phoenix Suns in 7 because, like you've seen today, LeBron and AD do not look the same. LeBron was turning the ball over. He was sloppy. He settled for threes. He didn't know what he was going to do in the post. You can't do that at a team that's going to come at you. The Suns have played some of the best basketball all year. They have been either 1 or 2 in the entire NBA the whole year. This team is good. Shout out to Devin Booker. Come out his first game, get 30 plus points, hit some big shots in the fourth quarter, hit some big threes to get them the lead, and they was able to keep it. DeAndre Ayton, the guy that everybody questioned, will he be able to guard AD? Will he be able to defend Drummond? He responded, gobbled up so many offensive rebounds, finished around the paint. I wish he had better hands. He fumbled a lot of passes and fumbled a lot of layups that he could have made or dunked. You can't do that. You got to take advantage of every opportunity, especially when they're open, especially when they're easy. Every point matters. Whoever scores the most points wins the game. Aiden got to be more smarter, but he showed that he has a chance to be dominant in this series. AD has been called out for being a little soft. Aiden went at him. Aiden kept coming at him, and he looked it pretty good. Andre Drummond, I don't know what he's doing. Can't make a layup, can't make a free throw. Fumbled the ball a lot, turned the ball over a lot, tried to do too much, didn't stay in his lane, and it cost the Lakers on a lot of possessions. Dennis Schroeder got a little hot late. They're going to need him to be better throughout the whole entire series if they really want to win this series. I'm disappointed in the Lakers, but this is the Lakers that we've seen the last month. You don't know what AD is going to do. You don't really know what LeBron is going to do. And sometimes you don't know what the rest of the guys is going to do. It was a lot of the guys that came off the bench that didn't have really no impact at all on the game. And you just can't have that when you're going against a Suns team that has been one of the most consistent one of the most consistent teams all year on both ends of the court. And on top of that, Chris Paul didn't even look like himself because of the shoulder injury, and it still was enough for them to win by 9. That shouldn't happen if you're the defending champs and you have majority of your roster still intact and they, flopped that game. So when I look at a lot of these games, it was fun watching the playoffs so far. It was a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and guys came out. And one game I wasn't excited, I'm not really crazy about, is the Bucks. The Bucks, that game was so bad. They couldn't make a free throw. The refs controlled the game. Chris Middleton missing free throws. Giannis missed a lot in a row. I was just going crazy of when the game was going to end. Chris Middleton was able to seal it. Jimmy Butler looked like a shell of himself. Couldn't make a three. Couldn't make a free throw. I didn't even know what was going on for majority of the game. That game was virtually unwatchable, especially in the fourth quarter and in overtime. That was some of the worst basketball that I have seen. And if it wasn't for the referees, I doubt that any one of them teams could have had scored the way that they was playing. Other than that, when you look at the last couple games, we have Portland versus Denver. Like I said in that series, Denver just don't have enough scoring. Michael Porter had a solid game. Jokic was Jokic. They just didn't have enough to overcome the Blazers. The Blazers are healthier. The Blazers have more weapons. The Blazers have more scoring. They have more dependable players. They have more guys that can do more. And they should win this series. And I felt like they would. And they pretty much did a good job of that. And they took care of their business. This is a series where everybody's putting Denver as the loser in this series. just because they lost too much talent, and guys like Barton and Jamal Murray are huge pieces to this team and they're not even playing. So, that hurted them a lot. They kept it competitive. They stayed in it. They gave it they all, but ultimately they fell short and didn't get the W. Last game was Denver versus I'm not Denver. Is the Clippers versus Mavericks. I liked it. How did the Clippers defend it? Luka made some threes. Luka is a guy that he comes and goes with the 3-point line. He can have games where he's hot from three. He can have games where he only can make 2 or 3 of them. So that's going to really depend on this series. I feel like Tim Hardaway Jr. hit some big shots off the dribble, pull-ups, and that really helped them stay in. But the Clippers, they disappeared a lot. They went on spurts where they looked like they was better defensively. They looked like they had the better team, but they just couldn't put the ball in the basket. Paul George missed some shots. I'm not gonna put the blame on him like other people because I feel like he did make that jump shot to keep him in. He did make that dunk to keep him in. Kawhi Leonard missed the three, a couple threes. He missed the mid ranges. Unlike him, he is clutch. He is a guy that can take over and carry you to a W. He helped them lose that game because he didn't come through for him. Neither did Paul George. Rondo, he played pretty decently. I feel like the role players, Serge Ibaka and them, they filled in where they could. But this is a game where the Clippers was supposed to sneak it out. And Dallas, you got to give them credit. They played with confidence. They came out and played the right way, played together. Porzingis didn't even have a good game either, and they still was able to get a game 1 W. So I like that the Mavericks took advantage of the Clippers not playing up to their expectations just like last year, and they got the W. Now they just got to do it 3 more times to come away with the win in the series. Now I just got to look at Paul George and Kawhi Leonard as a duo. Did they make a mistake joining together? Will they take this loss and come out even hungrier in game 2? We've seen Paul George have some hit and miss games against Dallas last year, and we saw Kawhi Leonard do it against Denver. Will they do it and crumble against Dallas, or will they step it up in game 2 and tie the series up and get back home court advantage? We will see. Hopefully you guys enjoy my analysis. So far, my predictions look about accurate right now. Only thing I got wrong was the Clippers. I feel like they still did well. They just didn't pull it away. I didn't think that Dallas was going to get swept or losing 5 anyway, so I thought they was going to win a couple games. Other than that, that was probably the biggest upset. I didn't really put too much pressure on the Lakers because I picked them to lose. So them losing game 1 wasn't a surprise. I felt like Phoenix had to come out and win game 1 if they really wanted to make this a real series, and they got it done. The Bucks series, I don't really know who's going to win that series because Milwaukee, they looked like they really didn't want it. Miami, they didn't have that killer that they had last year coming at you, pushing it at you, punching you in your face. They didn't do that. They didn't really make good passes. They didn't really make the shots the way they needed to. And Jimmy Butler didn't take over and steal the W. He flopped. He missed a lot of big shots. He turned the ball over, just didn't look like himself, even missing free throws in the overtime in the fourth quarter, and that just shouldn't happen. I still think the Bucks will be able to win it, but both of them teams I'm not really excited about, just like I said, coming into the series, and they proved that in game 1. Other than that, I'll be back to y'all tomorrow with the reactions of tomorrow games, Utah game against Grizzlies, and obviously the Knicks, Hawks. I'll come with my reactions about them tomorrow, along with the games that's tomorrow too. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis. I'm gone, and let me know what you guys think about the playoffs so far, and what was your upset? What was the thing you happy, and what was you wrong about? I told you what I had right, told you what I had wrong, told you what I'm expecting, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed y'all weekend. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis. I'm gone. And woo! Playoffs is here. It's been crazy, but they have delivered so far.